Hey guys, welcome back. I'd like to do something a little different for this video. I'd like to focus on talking about changes we'd like to see to the game. I've only got one I'm going to talk about right now, but I'd like to open it up and hear from you guys in the comments about anything that you've been thinking about that you think would really add to the game. Now try to keep in mind that there's a company behind this that needs to make money. We can't just shoot to the end of the game or get, times 8 tokens again like we had one time. But there should be some things I think that could make it more challenging and more fun and take away a little bit from the kind of the grind aspects of the game. So here's the one I'm thinking about. The Tower of Ponage. I think this was a great addition to the game in general. And they did a lot of things really well with the process. But there is one thing that I think I would change if I were them. And here's what it comes down to. When you start out the Tower of Ponage each day, it starts off, you get somewhere, see, for me, I'm level 61, I've got characters that are level 60. Most of the time, the characters that I'm fighting against down here, they're on the order of 10 levels lower. And the star levels vary all over the place. This was a particularly easy day, but some days I get, high levels of stars early on and fairly high levels. It could be level 55 even in the first couple towers. But even these lower levels represent a fair amount of risks, so that I'm still throwing in teams, especially if there are fast characters, to just take the damage so I can send in my actual teams a little bit later. And then we get a little further up, and the difficulty kind of slowly changes. We're still about at the 50s here. Let's continue up. We got 52, floor 10s, 52 still, floor 11, 53. So the whole thing, it's really not that far from just the same difficulty all the way through. And that feels like a grind. It feels like, we're going in there, we're doing just about the same thing every level. I'm just going to check to see if there are fast characters. I'm going to go through and see how much damage my characters are going to take. I'm going to throw somebody in there to take the damage first and then send the next team in. So that's very repetitive. What I'd like to see them do is change it so that, from start to finish, let's say right now, floor 1 on difficulty on a scale, it's maybe like a 7 or an 8, and then you get all the way up to the top, and maybe the difficulty goes to whatever the scale is, something around a 10 now. I'd like to shift that so the bottom becomes really easy, even ridiculously easy. These could be level 30, low star levels, so that you can send your A-team in there and not worry about somebody getting taken out right away. You can just go through those lower levels really quickly. You say, okay, well, that's going to speed up the process. Well, what are we going to do at the top? The top, that's where we go for difficulty level 11. I know what you're thinking. Why not difficulty level 10? No, we're going above 10 all the way to difficulty 11. It's going to be actually a challenge, right? Levels that are higher than 60, higher than your own level. Here, I realize you can get higher levels if you're potentially lower than level 60 characters. But, something that gives you a higher challenge. And even this boss is just an incredibly easy boss to go through. I realize, you could be out of characters, especially if you're earlier in the game. But, make the tower a challenge event, not a grind event. I think that would make it much more enjoyable. You could fly through those lower levels. It wouldn't take up too much time for grinding, and then when you get to the higher levels, you'd actually have to use some strategy to attempt them. And I think that could make it a lot more fun without really losing any of the time requirement or something. Hopefully the time goes down a little bit, but also just the general challenge would be there. So that's something I think would really add. It would also be kind of cool if they could change up the boss periodically so that we saw some different bosses. That may be something that they're working on in general. This guy, basically it's an auto attack, I think, for most of us. You put a team in there. I usually use Lady Nimral, and who else do I have in here? Let's go back to the character list. Basically use the same team every time. Nub, even though he's probably not needed. We get through it pretty quickly with these higher star level characters. And I throw in Bramble because he gives a crit bonus to Nub. Means we're going to get heals more often. And then, let's go back up here. And Theron. So Theron and Lady Nimral are there to do extra damage, that times 2 damage they have for armored and tank units. So they deal most of the damage. The other two just keep us, fully healed. Auto attack through it, no problem. Again, it'd be fun if there was a little bit more challenge involved with that boss, or at least with working your way up through those last couple levels. So that's my suggestion. But more importantly, there are a lot of ideas, a lot of people out there listening, and some of the stuff has already gone through onto the forums, but I think in some ways it's more fun to talk about it as a community here as well. So I'd like to hear those. I'd like to hear any of the ideas and thoughts going forward. Reasonable changes, hopefully things that don't take too much effort on the developers' part, keep them coming out with new updates and that sort of thing. But small changes that might make the game all that much more fun. That's all we've got for today. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to everyone soon. If you liked this, then you're going to love what we have coming out next. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more mobile gaming videos, or check out the rest of the channel for more tips and tricks. If you don't have this game yet, feel free to download it from the sponsored link in the video description below. These downloads help to support the channel and help us to continue to put out more great videos. Thanks again for all your support, and come back soon as we continue our quest, seeking every possible advantage.